Greetings, welcome to Facts About Everything. I'm your host, James Egan, and welcome to the final video of my President's Month. Let's look at Donald Trump, the 45th President of the United States. I'm just going to try and be as fair as possible. Donald Trump was 70 years old when he was elected president, making him the oldest person to ever be American president. Is that okay? I'm not going to get any hateful comments for that one. He was worth $3.7 billion in October 2016, making him the richest president in American history. Before that, George Washington was the richest president ever, but he had nearly 8 times less than that. Despite what Trump has said millions of times, he has filed for bankruptcy 4 times. In 1991, Trump couldn't pay off the interest for his casino, Trump Taj Mahal, so he declared bankruptcy. In 1992, the Trump Plaza Casino lost $559 million. In 2004, his hotels and casino had a total debt of $1.8 billion. In 2009, he had to declare bankruptcy for the 4th time and resigned as the Trump Entertainment Resorts chairman. He once said, "In the end, you're measured not by how much you undertake, but what you finally accomplish." Trump and Reagan are the only presidents to have been divorced. Until he campaigned for a presidency, he almost never shook hands, afraid he would catch a contagious illness. He believes everyone should have a prenuptial agreement. Despite his negative statements about Mexicans, he received 29% of the Latino vote. He married Ivana Zelnikova in 1977. He had 3 children, Donald Jr., Eric, and Ivanka, with her until they divorced in 1992. He married his second wife, Marla Maples, in 1993. He had 1 child, Tiffany, with her until they divorced in 1999. He married Melania Knobs in 2005 and had 1 child called Barron. She is now known as Melania Trump, and she is the First Lady. He was the host for the show The Apprentice since 2004. When he removes contestants, he says, "You're fired." This became his catchphrase, and he even copyrighted the saying. I have no idea how you copyright such a common phrase. He was nominated for 2 Emmys for the show for Outstanding Reality Competition Program. If you're watching this and you think I'm just going to be all negative about Trump, I am going to try and be as fair as I can, so I am going to say some bad things, but I'm going to say some good things. Like, in 1988, Trump ordered his private jet to fly a 3-year-old with a severe breathing illness to New York. He didn't know the child or his family. They just asked him to help, and he did. Although Trump is known to have an ego, he didn't say this to anyone publicly until 12 years later in his book, The America We Deserve. He has never drank alcohol or smoked cigarettes in his entire life. After the 2015 San Bernardino terrorist attack that resulted in the death of 14 Americans, Trump demanded a total and complete shutdown of the country's border of Muslims. He said this act was justified since 25% of US Muslims agree that violence against Americans is justified as a part of the global jihad. However, the Pew Research Center performed a study in 2011 that concluded that 1% of Muslims believe that violence in the name of Islam was often justified. He took part in the Comedy Central roast of Donald Trump in 2011. It's kind of weird if he didn't, if it's called the roast of Donald Trump. Each year, a group of celebrities mock a guest of honor at their expense for about 70 minutes. Trump was mocked by Snoop Dogg, Larry King, Gilbert Gottfried, Seth MacFarlane, Mike the Situator Sorrentino, and others. They mainly made fun of his hair and the idea of him ever becoming president. Over a dozen women have accused him of sexual misconduct, including a contestant from The Apprentice, a Miss USA contestant, and his first wife. He is nicknamed the Don, the Donald, the Trumpster, and Mr. Brexit. He nicknamed himself Mr. Brexit on Twitter. He is a huge fan of wrestling and has been friends with WWE CEO Vince McMahon for decades. He hosted WrestleMania 4 and 5 at Trump Plaza and has appeared in several WWE storylines. Let's talk about the mammoth in the room. One of the biggest factors for Trump's presidential campaign was stating that he was going to build a $13 billion wall across the US-Mexico border. Since 6.2 million Mexicans illegally live in the US, this will be a huge factor in preventing more Mexicans from illegally entering the country. He hopes to deport the other 6.2 million Mexicans within a few years of his presidency. However, the American Action Forum calculated that it would take at least 20 years to deport this many undocumented immigrants and would cost the federal government $400 billion. As I do this video right now, Trump only yesterday announced that America will pay for the wall, but Mexico will reimburse them, which the Mexican government has said that will absolutely never happen. Donald Trump intends to bring back the infamous waterboarding torturing technique against terrorists in a heartbeat. The CIA's detention and interrogation program have stated that this technique is ineffective for acquiring intelligence or gaining operation from the detainees. Trump countered this by stating that the detainees deserve it anyway. CIA Director John Brennan said he would never use waterboarding ever again, even if he was ordered to. In 1980, Trump hired a contractor to demolish a building to make room for the skyscraper Trump Tower. The contractor hired 200 undocumented Polish workers for the demolition. Each Pole worked 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, for $5 an hour. Some workers were never paid. The workers fought for 19 years before they were paid a more reasonable amount. Although they demanded $4 million, it is unknown how much Trump paid them to settle the case. He has cameoed in many television shows and films, including The Nanny, Sex and the City, Zoolander, Monk, Sabrina the Teenage Witch, 2 Weeks' Notice, and The Little Rascals. But of course, his greatest performance was in Home Alone 2, Lost in New York.
Excuse me, where's the lobby?
Down the hall and to the left.
Thanks.
He believes China is responsible for sabotaging American industrial expansion by taking manufacturing jobs. He also believes China invented the concept of climate change for financial gain, due to all of the evidence. He has a habit of making up words. He says bigly instead of big, huge instead of huge, the cyber instead of the internet, braggadocious instead of boastful, and so on. He was deferred during the Vietnam War 5 times. Although he was passionately against Obamacare and promised to have it removed when he was sworn in, Trump has given it second thought since he was in favor of the section that prevents companies from refusing to insure an individual because of pre-existing medical conditions. At the time of this video, that's the case, but that might change over time. I mean, anything might change because it's still very early days. He only literally just became the president. And the final fact of Trump and the President's Month is many celebrities like Miley Cyrus, Whoopi Goldberg, Bryan Cranston, Jon Stewart, Spike Lee, Cher, Barbra Streisand, Neve Campbell, Amy Schumer, and Samuel L. Jackson have stated that they will leave the country if Trump is elected president. And that is it. Oh, my nose has gone numb and everything. Yeah. Woo! We're finished. We're finished President Month. Yeah! I hope you enjoyed that and I hope you learned a lot about all the American presidents. If you enjoyed President's Month, let me know if there's any other subject you want me to dedicate a month to. Normally I dedicate a week, but if the demand is so high for films, TV, movies, video games, whatever, then yeah, I'll do a month of it. Special thanks to these fine people for all their help. Be sure to subscribe to Facts About Everything. Follow me on Twitter for updates on upcoming videos. Check out my Facebook page to let me know what subjects you want me to talk about in the future. Thanks for watching. See you again.